So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm not on the couch because it's hot as fuck in Puerto Rico, and my couch area is a mess. That's what happens when you have kids. But the band that I'm interviewing today, Obsidian Tongue, they're from Portland, Maine, and we're here to talk about the brand new EP that's coming out in a few weeks. So I have Brendan and Ray here from the band. So guys, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having us. It's definitely not hot here by any stretch
No,
of the imagination. It is
yeah,
very,
you
very
guys
cold here
are.
today.
The total opposite. You guys are in Maine, Portland, and we were actually going to do this interview last week, but you had like a awful, those snowstorms that you're getting over there, which can be
Right.
pretty rough. But when you are a atmospheric black metal band, I think it helps. Like if you were in the tropics with sunshine and coconuts, I don't think you would get the vibe of the band because it's pretty atmospheric and gloomy at the same time. So how much
Yeah.
does your environment play into your sound?
That's a good question. I think it's actually the last interview I did. I think we kind of got on the same subject, and I think it varies from band to band. And in general, with this style of music and this subgenre, I think it comes up arguably more than it should or something because uh it's I consider it a little more introspective and kind of like imaginative, and you're kind of like exploring your own weird inner visions, more so than just being like cold fucking snowy forest. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot more to explore and a lot more to illustrate, so it's not like the primary muse, but it still is super inspirational. The winter, especially, I'm get a lot of inspiration during the winter.
Yeah, and this EP is 3 songs, 20 minutes, but you pack a lot of like different styles and into 20 minutes because there's black metal elements, atmospheric, but there's like some prog to some of the songs. They're long songs and there's some psychedelics. So I found that there was a lot packed into 20 minutes. So taking me back when you guys started recording this because it's 2020, you have an album out and you can't tour with it. Uh, right when that happened, did you guys went right into making music just to cope with how much time that we obviously had everyone back in 2020?
Yeah, right away, basically, because we didn't have to keep a set list tightened up for live shows, and we didn't have to talk about booking or anything like that. And well, I mean, we didn't even see each other in person for a while, so we were just kind of talking and sharing clips, online and stuff. And yeah, just kind of started writing right away. Like, I think we, started putting together the title track, the Stoneheart, like, yeah, like a month or two into uh the lockdown, and it just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah.
Well, that
So,
volume three came out in 2020, but we had actually finished recording it, I don't know, at least a year, maybe 2 years before. So I think we were actually working on that stuff before lockdown. Some of the stuff that um, either ended up on this EP or on the following album that's going to come out. So we just had a lot of material that we had going, and then the lockdown was a little bit of a breather, but we just kept sending tracks back and forth. And then, yeah, so when we got back together, there was a lot of material to, work out again and figure out how we wanted to release it.
yeah, and I listened to Volume 3. It's a pretty awesome record. Now that touring is more open, will you also like include a lot of that when you guys do shows? Will you include a lot of that album since maybe so people can hear it because it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We only got to play one of those new songs once, and that was actually a show. I think it was a week before they told everyone to stop going outside, you know. So yeah, and then we actually just did our first two shows since COVID, like 2 or 3 months ago, and we did some stuff from volume 3, and we definitely would keep doing some more because it's fun. It's fun stuff to play, and it didn't really get its chance, back then. So for sure.
Yeah, it can get like its second wind. So how was it
Mm.
going back after so many, like a few years of not playing? Was it like riding a bike?
uh I I feel like for the most part, yeah. I mean, maybe there were a couple little little bumps, but by the second show, we were like, yeah, we know exactly what we're doing. But Ray could probably chip in on this too because I think he did a lot more playing than I did, like live performance, like before we went back on stage.
Yeah,
So
tell us about it, Ray.
Oh yeah, so this was the first the show we did. I think it was in August of 2023. That was the first Obsidian Tongue show for what was that 2-3 years. But in that time, I play in a couple other bands, so I had been on tour once or twice, and even that was strange. Though it's it's weird being back on stage, but it's nice to be back with Brendan and playing these Volume 3 songs and the new stuff. It's just it's got a different vibe, Obsidian Tongue does, than any of the other projects I do.
No, awesome. And something that you did for this EP that you hadn't done is that you added bass to the mix. How much do you think that changed the sound for you guys? Because being a duo and adding bass to the sound of the band.
it is kind of the result of a very, very long discussion, that we've had pretty much over the years. We've kind of talked about it, and then we say nah, and then we talk about it some more, and so eventually, I mean, I think maybe the fresh perspective of having spent so much time kind of isolated, being like a isolated band, like we were always active, we've constantly been active, but not publicly releasing things or performing. So I just think that isolation led to embracing change a lot more. And so and so once we tightened up all this new stuff, like Ray sent me some kind of like stereo practice tracks. It was like the bounce down of, all the drums and the guitars together. So then I had it, and then I said, all right, I'm just going to plug in my bass and play over it and see what we think, and then we both listened back to bass version and the bassless version, and we're like, well, it's just sounded good, and it opens up the possibilities for what the guitar can do, because I'm basically always playing like what would be like a bass line kind of with the more harmonic notes on top, like doing it simultaneously, and now I can play one note at a time instead of a big chord if I want, and it really expanded our sound, I think, but it still has the same feeling.
Yeah, no, because I listened to your previous works and to this, and yeah, I think that atmospheric sound has always been there. So when you sat down to write the lyrics for this, I know there you have another EP and then a full length, but they kind of tie into each other, right?
It's kind of, it's a little loose, but at the same time, like there is some kind of continuity there. And I kind of had some ideas that I knew wanted to shape the full length, and so I figured those concepts are kind of introduced the first time on the title track, "The Stone Heart." But admittedly, I have to say that the other long song on that EP, "Winter Child," is kind of a standalone track, you know, like you can almost consider it a single in the sense that it's its own little world, it's its own thing, but it was just something that was really urgent. Like at the time, like we need to put this out now, you know. There was some feelings and thoughts that needed to get out. So Winter Child's kind of its own thing, but Stoneheart more so cascades into some other stuff.
Yeah, I was listening about Winter Child, and you know, being a track really inspired by being locked down, long winters, and isolation. So I don't know why I was reading that, and I thought The Shining, like
The Shining.
yeah, The Shining. You know, because he's isolated, working on a book
Uh-huh.
in a Toronto place. So I felt like, hey, instead of a book, you know, you're writing this album. So so I don't know why I got that mental image.
That's cool.
That's interesting. I'll think about that now whenever we play it.
Yeah, now you'll think
Jack
about that.
Nicholson and an axe.
So, yeah, I want to show the artwork of the upcoming EP because it's really cool, and the artwork ties into the third song on that EP, which is pretty self-explanatory because the album, the cover is basically the title of the song. So if you can elaborate a little bit of what we are going for with this artwork.
Yeah. So we're really excited about the painting that we got on there. It's from a Swiss artist from the mid 1900s named Peter Burkhauser. He's something of a he almost became like an acolyte and a friend of sorts of Carl Jung, and you know, because they were working around the same time, and so he was just a professional like poster artist, you know, almost did like advertisement type stuff, but he got really into the idea of dream interpretation and the collective unconscious. So he started this kind of side collection of literally dream paintings, and some of them are pretty mind blowing. And that is one of his. And I can't say the name properly in Swiss because I'm not multilingual, but it translates to bear at the tree of light, because that's obviously what you're seeing is a bear climbing up and feeding on these orbs of light on a tree.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I've been to Madrid, and they have like a statue of like a bear trying to eat a tree too. That kind of reminds me of this artwork.
Oh, get out! Well,
Oh
that's
yeah,
cool. Now we have to go to Madrid.
Yeah, it's like a statue. I don't know the name, but if you Google it, you'll find it. And but I was reading, I'm like, so yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. So you mentioned Carl Jung. There's one of the songs where you have a quote for Carl Jung. What is the quote, and what does that quote mean to you?
Well, it's more so, I mean, there's this really long section from Man and His Symbols that he wrote, and it's just kind of, so basically there were just kind of a couple of the terms that he used on there that I kind of got inspired by, and I decided to turn into its own thing. But you know, he says something about how the god men have fled underground, you know, and you know, and the gods have as well, and you know, kind of leaving mankind to be on their own. And he also uses the word I forget the exact quote, but the word ignominious is in there, and I was like, I've never heard the word ignominious before, but I loved it. so
I hadn't heard it either.
Is in, yeah, and so that is in the lyrics as well. But basically, just kind of the idea of, you know, the surface of the earth, like once having a multitude of gods kind of there, like living alongside people, and then they all disappeared underground. I'm like, wow, where did they go? And then that's kind of, you know, where the Stoneheart picks up, I guess, conceptually with the lyrics is, you know, that kind of thing.
Interesting. The sound of the EP is pretty, you know, I like it because sometimes black metal, especially the bands from Europe, are known for that like gritty sometimes sound that you can understand it, but I like it that you can understand and it feels atmospheric and there's woods everywhere, so we can have black metal bands everywhere. I like the promo pictures because you guys are in wood, but it's a different. The woods there are prettier than the ones that they use. I don't know, for those other black metal bands from the 90s, they look like very menacing type of woods. Your woods look nice. I would go there. So yeah, but just an interesting thought. So I know that we're like at the beginning of the year. Like, are you guys into like listening to other type of music? Like what? Like, are you like excited for anything that's gonna come out soon?
Huh. Ray, you got anything?
No, I don't really know of anything that's coming out. I've been kind of out of the loop as far as finding music goes. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I threw that curveball, but yeah. So when you for Obsidian Tone, like for you guys, basically like because I hear so many elements. Like what bands inspired your sound? Like when you first started out.
It's hard to when the project very first started, it was actually there are a lot of unreleased songs. They're like the first songs that are like a lot more evil and kind of satanic and kind of belligerent. And so I think maybe the influences would have been a little more obvious there. But as time went on, I would almost say it was just inspired by different styles, more so than specific bands. But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, as far as the black metal basis, it's just kind of the classics like Dark Throne and the first couple of Immortal albums and Ild Yarn and stuff like that. And but having always been really into Pink Floyd and Rush and even Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. I guess just kind of trying to make something that was authentically black metal, but also kind of psychedelic simultaneously has always been kind of the inspiration. So it's not like going from one part to another, not like that genre skipping
Mm-hmm.
sort of dynamic. It's like, okay, here's the part that sounds like Emperor, and then here's a part that sounds exactly like Pink Floyd or something. It's just somehow having both of those feelings hitting you at the same time.
Yeah, no, I think
although
that the atmospheric term like really goes because there's even like black gaze, like a bands like Alcest that have mixed like black metal with shoegaze, and I think it sounds awesome. Like so you guys like evolving, and are you would you like bring newer elements into the sound, or do you want to keep it like the type of like sound that you have right now with DCPs, or are you like when you start doing a production or something, you're like, let's see where this takes us?
part of the fun of this batch of music that we have right now, we did the EP partially so we could explore what that sounded like. When we do the next release, we'll see what worked and what didn't and what we want to tweak and maybe put more layers, maybe probably not fewer layers, maybe more layers, you know. So yeah, production is one of the fun parts about having your album come to life.
No, yeah, I think I like the layers in them. So in the next few months, what can we expect from Obsidian Tongue?
So we're just gonna kind of finish the tracking for the other new releases. Just some I did, some layers to finish up, and then I guess we're gonna figure out the release schedule and everything like that. So basically, this is like a digital EP, only for the sake of just getting some of our new music out there as soon as possible. But then also, like Ray said, to kind of split up production and sonic approaches, to kind of interpret the sound in different ways, you know. But I guess we're just going to be figuring out how exactly the LP is going to be brought into the world, and follow that up with the kind of that other EP that we were talking about. That it's all the stuff that got put together at the same time, and then we'll just start the next album, I guess, right after that. So, you know,
you guys are gonna be busy. So yeah, you know, I listened to the EP. It's great. You know, I like it because it's got different elements to it. So I think that I would recommend it to people who like atmospheric experimental black metal. If you like those type of bands that we mentioned, I think you should check it. And I'm gonna put the link for people who want to like pre-order the digitally. Are you gonna do like a? It's gonna be like on Bandcamp or any other of the platforms?
yeah, it will definitely be on Bandcamp, and it will be on obviously like Spotify and all that stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
but you don't get paid there.
No, we do not.
So we need to promote the shit that pays you, man.
Yeah, so that would be Bandcamp then.
Yeah.
Definitely get it on Bandcamp if you're interested. And
yeah, and
I
see here that you have a show on the 27th, right?
We sure do.
Yeah, on the Sacred Profane Brewing. So that's gonna be the show. Are you gonna have that like a almost like an EP release, not release, but like, are you gonna like play it in full?
Almost. I mean, I guess we're gonna do. I guess we'll do two of the three new songs. So just about. And then yeah, that's exactly a week before the actual release, you know, which we wanted to sync up with Bandcamp Friday. So it comes out on the 2nd of Bandcamp Friday, and that show just kind of popped up. We just kind of got asked to do it, and it's for a good cause. It's raising funds for a new you know, goth and metal record shop that they have in Biddeford. So, you know,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was just
you left your evil ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I went to Oslo in 2016, and I went to that famous record store where it has the black metal on the basement. And back then when I went, I know I went with my ex-wife, and she's not into metal at all. So we're down there, and she sees that, and she tells me like, is this safe? like this looks like some like a place where you bring people to kill them. I'm like, no, it's totally safe. Nothing's gonna happen. And I took the classic picture next to it. But it was, you know, it was awesome. I bought the shirt. So yeah, if you ever go to Oslo, you gotta go to that store, and you know it has so many awesome selections, and obviously take the picture.
Yeah. I would definitely like to do that. Ray, have you ever been to Oslo, Ray? I don't remember.
I've been to Oslo. I think I went to that record store, but I didn't take a picture. So I really missed out.
Like I saw pictures of like a lot of bands taking it there, and so yeah, it's like a super iconic. But yeah, so on the 27th you will have the show, and then on the 2nd, Bandcamp Friday, people support Obsidian Tongue. You know, it's a band that's, you know, you've been doing this now for almost 10 years. So so it's been a while, and you have few releases, and they should also check out Volume 3 from 2020 because it's really awesome. So anything that you like to say to the people who watch this before we go?
Just thanks for listening and for tuning in, and yeah, we hope to do more of this. So thanks for having us, man.
No, thank you guys. So, and Ray, again, you play in other bands, and I kid you not, where I first saw you, I thought you were the guitar player for Periphery. Like you guys separated at birth, but yeah, but you're a drummer. So, People, Obsidian Tongue, February 2nd. Get that. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.